2 weeks after our wedding, my wife told me she was leaving me. Not because she stopped loving me, not because I cheated, but because her ex-boyfriend was dying, and she promised she'd stay with him until the end. Or so she thought. What really happened was worse than I ever imagined. And now, just as I was moving on with someone new, she showed up, pregnant, with my baby. My name's Ryan, I'm 31. 2 months ago, I was a newlywed, grilling steaks on a Friday night, waiting for my wife Kelsey to come home from work. Today, I'm single, legally divorced, and completely confused about what the hell to do with the rest of my life. Let me tell you how it all went down, and maybe you'll understand why I feel like I'm stuck in some kind of cruel Netflix drama. Kelsey and I met 5 years ago. I was invited to a backyard BBQ by my buddy Josh. I almost didn't go. It had been a rough week at work, and I wasn't really in the mood to socialize, especially not with strangers. But Josh insisted, so I showed up, beer in hand, 0 expectations. Then I saw her, Kelsey, helping Josh's girlfriend set up the food table, laughing like she didn't have a single care in the world, wearing this plain blue sundress that somehow made her look like the only real person in a crowd of Instagram filters. We started talking over burnt chicken. 3 hours later, we were still talking. It was easy, effortless, like I'd known her forever. She was 26, working as a pediatric nurse, kind, sarcastic, naturally beautiful, and didn't take herself too seriously. We clicked, and within 2 weeks, we were inseparable. Over the next few years, we moved in together, adopted a mixed-breed dog named Charlie, and built a life that felt rock solid. My friends joked that I was whipped, but the truth was, I wanted to do better, to be better, for her. Last year, I proposed during a hiking trip, Kelsey's favorite activity. She said yes between tears and laughter. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. We got married 6 months later at a vineyard just outside of Denver. Expensive as hell, but worth it. Seeing her walk down the aisle made me feel like the luckiest guy in the world. Our honeymoon in Santorini was unreal. Sunsets, wine, plans for the future, buying a house, maybe kids in a couple of years. Then, 2 weeks after we got back, everything fell apart. It was a Friday. I'd picked up 2 Wagyu steaks from a fancy butcher downtown, $70 a piece. I wanted to surprise Kelsey. She'd been working double shifts at the hospital and looked exhausted lately. She texted me around 5 p.m. Gonna grab coffee with Rachel. Be home around 8. Rachel, her best friend from college. A drama magnet. But whatever. I respected their friendship. 8 o'clock came, then 8:30. The steaks were cold. I was hungry, annoyed, but figured maybe they lost track of time. 9:07. She walked in, pale, eyes red, lips trembling. She didn't even notice the candles I lit or the food I cooked. She just said, "We need to talk." Now, as a married man, I knew what that sentence meant, but nothing could have prepared me for what followed. Kelsey sat down and told me she'd been talking to her ex, Nathan. Apparently, Rachel ran into his brother at the gym earlier that week. That's how she found out. Nathan had stage 4 brain cancer. 6 months to live. Kelsey said she felt shaken after hearing the news. That she'd reached out to Nathan to say goodbye, to offer comfort. The texts started out innocent, but soon they were talking every day. She said he told her he had no one, that his family was across the country, and that his dying wish was to spend his final months with the woman he never stopped loving. And then she said it. I have to go to him, Ryan. I made him a promise before we broke up. If he ever needed me, I'd be there. I couldn't even speak. I just stared at her, my wife, telling me just 2 weeks after our wedding that she was leaving, to take care of another man. She insisted it wasn't romantic. She claimed it was about closure, about doing the right thing. I asked if she still loved him. She cried, said it wasn't about that. that it was bigger than love. It was fate. I asked if she verified his diagnosis. She got defensive. No, but why would he lie about something like that? I said. I don't know. Maybe because he saw our wedding pictures online and panicked? She didn't answer. Then she had the audacity to suggest we pause our marriage while she took care of him. A pause. On a marriage. We'd been married 3 weeks. I told her she had one choice. If she walked out that door, we were done. No coming back. No in between. She hesitated, then grabbed her coat. Didn't say goodbye. That night, I didn't sleep. Just sat there with the untouched steaks, wondering how my life had gone off the rails so fast. The next week was a blur. She stayed at Rachel's, barely replied to my texts. Then I got the email, a divorce request. Friendly, of course, casual, as if this was some mutual decision after months of fighting. Not a one-sided ambush over fake noble loyalty. I hired a lawyer, told her she could have the furniture, but I wasn't leaving the house. I'd paid for 70% of it. When she came by to pack, she brought Rachel. That smug look on Rachel's face made me want to scream. She even tried to take Charlie, our dog. Nope. Not happening. I showed her the vet receipts and registration, all under my name. A week after she left, I got a message. Long, emotional, saying she hoped I'd understand, that maybe someday after Nathan passed, we could reconnect, like I was some backup plan. A spare husband on the shelf. The next day, her lawyer sent official divorce papers. She didn't even call, just email. That moment hit harder than anything else. Not the betrayal, not the stakes, not even losing my wife. It was the casual way she discarded everything we built. A few friends took her side, said I was being heartless. That true love means supporting difficult decisions. Her sister, Lauren, who I used to get along with, posted some vague Facebook crap like, sometimes love is letting someone go be who they're meant to be. Yeah? Well, what about the person they left? Still, I signed the papers. We split everything clean. She didn't fight over the house. Probably felt guilty. I didn't care. I just wanted it over. The silence was deafening. Nights were the worst. Charlie would curl up next to me on the couch while I binge-watched Breaking Bad for the 3rd time, trying not to think. I started working overtime. Took every project I could. Money was good, but the loneliness was brutal. Every night I'd check my phone, half hoping for a message, half hoping she'd stay gone. Then she called. 3 months later, completely out of nowhere. Multiple missed calls, voicemails, texts. I ignored them. I was finally moving on. Until Lauren, her sister, messaged me. Ryan, I know you're angry, but you need to hear her out. Something happened. Curiosity won. I answered her next call. Kelsey was sobbing, rambling. I could barely understand. Then she said the words that made my brain short-circuit. Nathan never had cancer. What? Apparently, Nathan faked everything. He'd seen our wedding photos on social media, panicked, and decided to win her back. He had a friend in the medical field forge documents. He fabricated scans, diagnosis letters, the whole thing. Kelsey only found out because she ran into Nathan's real sister at Whole Foods. When Kelsey mentioned his treatment, the sister just stared at her. What treatment? That night, Kelsey confronted him. He laughed, admitted everything, said, "It worked, didn't it?" Then he told her he was dating a co-worker named Jessica now, and that they were moving to California together. Let that sink in. This guy faked brain cancer to break up my marriage, then moved on like nothing happened. Kelsey begged for forgiveness, told me how stupid she felt, how she'd thrown everything away for a lie. She said she wanted to meet, to talk. I agreed. Not because I wanted her back. I just needed closure. We met at a busy downtown cafe. She looked rough, like she hadn't slept in days. Wearing one of my old hoodies. She sat down, looked me in the eyes, and whispered, "You look good. Been working out?" I said, "Yeah. Getting left by your wife is great motivation." She didn't laugh. She poured her heart out. Said she'd never stop regretting what she did. That she still had our wedding ring. Still looked at our photos. Said this whole experience proved she could be loyal because she was willing to give up everything for someone she once loved. I almost choked on my coffee. You think that's proof of loyalty? You didn't even verify his diagnosis. She said it was a lesson. That maybe the universe brought us back together for a reason. That we could come out stronger from this. I shut that down fast. Kelsey, our marriage wasn't a spiritual test. You picked someone else. You abandoned me without question. That's not love. That's weakness. She cried. Tried to reach for my hand. I pulled back. You're only here because Nathan dumped you. If he really had been dying, you'd still be with him. I'm not your second choice. She started shaking. Said I was being cruel. I said, "You know what's cruel? Walking out on your husband for a dying ex without even a conversation. That was cruel." Then, like a final Hail Mary, she said, "We could go to therapy. I'd do anything to earn your trust again." I laughed, not out of spite, just disbelief. Kelsey, you don't need couples therapy. You need to figure out why you believed a story that made no sense and destroyed your own life. She asked if there was any chance for us in the future. I told her, "The man you married died the night you left. I'm not that guy anymore." Then I walked out. A few months passed. I started feeling like myself again. Got promoted at work. Bought a Tacoma I'd been eyeing for years. Started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Felt stronger than I had in years, physically and mentally. Even met someone. Her name's Tessa. She's everything Kelsey wasn't. Straightforward. Chill. Zero drama. Doesn't talk about the universe, just lives in the real world. We met at the gym. She teaches kickboxing classes in the mornings, and we started talking over smoothies. Nothing serious at first, but something real was definitely building. Then, the doorbell rang. It was a Thursday night. I was cooking dinner for Tessa. Charlie was curled up near the kitchen island, and I was slicing veggies. I opened the door, and there she was. Kelsey, hair messy, eyes tired. Wearing one of my old hoodies again, her arms shaking as she handed me an envelope. "It's not what you think," she whispered, her voice cracking. Inside the envelope, a prenatal test. She was 14 weeks pregnant, and the early DNA test showed 99.9% probability I was the father. I nearly dropped the paper. She told me she'd found out right after everything with Nathan fell apart, but didn't have the courage to face me. That she'd gone through every doctor's appointment alone. Only her mom knew. She felt I had the right to know now, and I just stood there, holding that damn piece of paper while the woman who shattered my life stood there crying. And Tessa was 5 minutes away from walking through the door. I told her I needed time. She left. I texted Tessa that I was sick, canceled dinner, sat on the couch with Charlie holding the test results, completely numb. On one hand, I'd always wanted to be a father. We'd even talked about kids during our honeymoon. On the other hand, this was Kelsey, the woman who abandoned me for a lie without so much as a question. Now I had to co-parent with her? I didn't sleep that night. My mind raced in every direction. How was I going to tell Tessa? Was I ready to be a dad? Could I trust anything Kelsey said ever again? One part of me felt strangely happy, excited. Another part of me felt nothing but dread. The next few days were a blur. Kelsey started showing up everywhere. My office, my gym, my mom's place. Yes, my mom, who hadn't forgiven her for what she did and sent her packing with a look that could kill. Eventually, I agreed to meet again. Not to reconcile, just to figure out a plan. We met at a coffee shop downtown. She looked worn down, pale, still clinging to this hope that the baby meant we were meant to be. She said things like, "Maybe this is the universe's way of bringing us back together." I rolled my eyes. The universe didn't put a baby in you. That was us. Before you left. She asked if there was any chance we could start over, said she still wore her wedding ring sometimes, that she still loved me. I said, "You're confusing guilt with love. You don't miss me, you miss the safety." Then I dropped the truth. There's someone else now. I'm seeing someone. And she's not part of this circus. She broke down crying, tried to grab my hand across the table. I pulled away again. You only came back because your lie fell apart. If Nathan had died, you'd still be with him. You didn't come back to me. You came back because you had nowhere else to go. She said I was being unfair. I told her no. Unfair was asking me to pretend none of it happened. She mentioned therapy again. I told her she needed solo therapy first, that she needed to figure herself out before dragging anyone else back into her mess. She begged me for hope, any chance, even just to be in my life. I said the truth. We'll raise this baby, together, but as co-parents, nothing more. She nodded, devastated, tried to smile, then left. That was 3 weeks ago. Tessa still doesn't know. I've been trying to find the right words and the right moment because she deserves to know the full truth, even if it costs me everything with her. The truth is, I'm scared. Scared of being a father. Scared of messing it up. Scared of being tied to Kelsey for the next 18 years. But also, I want to do the right thing. For this kid. For myself. And maybe, just maybe, find peace with the past, without letting it poison my future. Because I know one thing for sure. I may have lost my marriage, but I won't lose myself. What would you do if the person who broke you came back, carrying your child? Sometimes, betrayal doesn't end with the goodbye. It echoes in every choice you make afterward. And when life hands you something unexpected, like fatherhood with someone who hurt you, you realize healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about owning your future.